Okay, we're still on? We on? We back on? Okay, I think we're back on. All right. Slap my ass and call me Sally. I'm so over this shit. Anyway, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Charles Ryan. If you are new, welcome to my channel. If you are not new, welcome back. As always, like, subscribe, and share. My last video is about my sister's first encounter with a furry in Florida. I have not told her I was making that video yet, so yeah, anyway, but today's video is going to be my thoughts and theories about Sam and Colby's haunted house. If y'all watch Sam and Colby, if you know me, anything about me and my family personally, we are obsessed with ghost hunting, all that stuff. We recently have gotten into Bigfoot hunting. I'm the one who studies all things supernatural, occult, and paranormal. I love anything doing with magic, mythology, ghosts, spirits, creatures, beings. I'm into all that stuff. Sorry guys, I gotta take a drink. My throat's dry. I'm into all that shit. So, I study all that stuff. So we watched their Hell Week, and it was really cool. But during their Hell Week, I think it was over in the UK, and I'm just telling you all this to give you some context as to what I'm about to talk about. Sam had done a ritual to make a sort of pact with the devil, not selling his soul, of course, but he asked him and another girl, I can't remember her name, had worked with this witch because they were wanting to get in contact with certain spirits. They asked for the devil or Lucifer, Morningstar, depending on your depiction or whatever, to help with, to help him find the darkness and to help him pretty much use it to his advantage so they could get in contact with certain spirits at that location. Anyway, fast forward to now, me, my mom, and brother, older brother, because we're the ones who are mainly into this shit, or at least the paranormal stuff. We watched their video about their house being haunted, and let me just give you all like just a quick rundown of their video and their experiences, what they thought, like their theories about what it might have been and what they ended up doing at the end, and what I personally think. So anyway, in their video, they have this new house that they bought. They've been living there for a while, but they've started having a lot of weird paranormal experiences. They thought it might have been because something followed them from somewhere. And they really weren't sure, but then they also had realized they had opened 13 Dybbuk boxes in their house. Okay, that's weird. They opened up 13 different Dybbuk boxes in their house. And if you know anything about Dybbuk boxes, a Dybbuk box was created to pretty much give a vessel to a specific spirit or demon. Usually it was a demon, or a ghost that was not at rest, to trap it within a box, giving it a sort of vessel so it couldn't wreak havoc, whether it be on a specific person, family, or just out in the open, depending on how powerful it was. That is what I've learned about Dybbuks, but I may be wrong. So if you have any more like details, please put it down below, or if you're from that specific religion where that comes from. But that's what I know about it, because I haven't studied it much. But they had opened 13 of them. They also have played tons of paranormal games, 3 specific paranormal games, I believe, in their house. And they always do the rituals in Sam's room. And Sam says he has woken up, like in the middle of the night, I believe it was Sam, has woken up in the middle of the night to what sounds like something crawling across his floor. Ooh, that just gives me chills thinking about it. So he wakes up to that a lot. They also hear growling, they hear footsteps, doors slamming, things opening and closing on its own. And Colby, his girlfriend, I believe, they have a dog together, and they were in his room one time, and the dog like barely ever barked. He said like never barked, never did nothing like that, but barked at a specific corner in the room when he was in there, and even when he left, the dog started doing it again. And his girlfriend is just so adamant now about she would never come back into the house if she had a choice. She just wouldn't, because she's so uncomfortable there because of the things that have been going on. So that's just to give you all context. And some other details is I believe they did those rituals down in the basement or in the garage. I can't remember. But you'll just have to go and watch their video about their house being haunted, because I can't remember all the details at the moment. But what you need to know is they've played 3 paranormal games, and from what they've learned, there was 3 entities within their home. 2 that actually wanted to harm or even kill Colby, and 1 that was actually a protector spirit, or 1 that was telling them that it wanted to protect them. So I kind of made a correlation with certain things. They played 3 different paranormal games, which could have released 3 different entities if you didn't play it correctly. And sometimes even when you play games like that correctly, it still can release something, not including the Dybbuk boxes. And then there's also 3 doors that pointed toward one another, to Colby's room. They were like, it was near 2 other doors, which, if you guys know anything, the crossroads, it's kind of like the mirror thing where you face 2 mirrors together to create a portal. Same thing with doorways. If there are several doorways pointing toward one another and intersecting and creating a sort of liminal space, or even a type of crossroads within a home, which kind of makes sense. 3 doorways, 3 entities, 3 games. So that's what I kind of correlated with one another. I don't think they made the connection with that. Maybe they did and just didn't edit it in, but there's 3 doorways that pointed toward one another, Colby's bedroom being one of them. And then there's 3 entities, 3 doorways, and then there's 3 paranormal games that they played. And during their investigation, they ended up finding their bookshelf. All the books in their bookshelf had been knocked over, even knocking over specifically the book of dark paranormal games to play at night. And when Sam opened up the book, it actually opened up to the paranormal card game that they had played, one of the 3 games they had played. And so they took that as a way to communicate with what was ever was in the house. So they asked it. They found out that one of them may have been a Dybbuk, but there was a protector spirit there, and they did find out more information through using a spirit box and an EMF detector, you know, the normal stuff. So they found out through there. So they ended up kind of creating a Dybbuk of their own, a Dybbuk box of their own. They said they don't practice the occult or anything like that, which, you know, to each his own. Anyway, they created a box. They put different sigils on it and protective symbols, while putting 2 facing mirrors within the box so they could trap the spirit. And they ended up talking to the protector spirit at the end, and come to find out that it was connected to the pact Sam had made with the devil back in the UK, I believe. I'm not necessarily saying it is the devil, but it was a thing, and they remembered that he had asked to help he had asked it to help him find the darkness back in the UK. And from my knowledge of the occult and different things I have studied, when you make a pact, the pact does not fade until it has fulfilled its end of the bargain, or if you offered something until you have ended up fulfilling the end of a bargain. So technically, he didn't sell his soul. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. But he did make a sort of pact. It agreed to help him find the darkness, and he never really put a specific time limit on it, as far as I know of. So until it feels as though that pact has been fulfilled, it probably won't leave him, or unless, of course, the witch that cast that spell for him goes about undoing that pact. I know they had closed up the ritual back in the UK, but things like that always leave a lingering effect or connection if you don't sever it completely. There are, of course, ways to do that. So he had asked the spirit, whatever it was, the devil, whatever it may be, that was connected to his pact. They found out that it was connected to that, and he actually used that, because things like that can lend you power. It was the pact he had made was to help him find the darkness. So it was there to protect him while helping him find it. So he used that power, or whatever, that connection to that thing, to call out whatever was in their house to force it into the box. And if you watch the video, everything that was around that box that they used to detect if a ghost was coming near it, it all went off, and they slammed the box shut. And since I don't have sight, my family had to describe to me what they did. They took the box, they closed it, shut everything down, and they took the box to somewhere, put it in a hole, and I believe they burned it, or they might have burned it. I don't know. But the issue for me with that is that when you're doing that, trapping a spirit in a box, even if it's a Dybbuk, certain things you can't destroy. That's not destroying it. Dybbuk boxes, from what I have learned, are used to, it's like a man-made vessel to trap a certain specific demon, creature, whatever it may be, within a box, because there's no way of destroying it or killing it. So the next best thing is giving it a vessel it cannot escape from. So in my head, they just kind of released it. But then again, I could be wrong, because I don't know the precautions they took. They didn't really show much of that. But my thoughts about, because Colby is very religious, which, cool, that's awesome. He's very religious, but Sam is very much a curious soul, I can tell. And he doesn't necessarily dabble in the occult, but he's also doesn't shy away from doing things like that. Hence the paranormal games and rituals that they do all the time. He's usually the one doing it. I mean, Colby will participate if he doesn't feel it's too dark, but like the one where Sam made a pact with the devil, Colby absolutely refused, which I do not blame him. I wouldn't make that pact myself. But Sam did. And hey, Sam and Colby, if you ever watch this, I'm just going to say this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm just going to say that now, okay? This whole video, educational and entertainment purposes only. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is just my own thoughts, theories, and opinions. But Colby does not participate in certain things if it's too dark, but Sam does not shy away from dabbling or using rituals to get a reaction out of spirits or ghosts or to find answers, which, that's good and all, but you also have to know and understand what you're doing. And I don't think he quite understood the consequence of making a pact like that. And I'm not saying it's evil, because there are plenty of practitioners that make pacts with many things around the world. And I don't judge you for what you do, because once again, I was born and raised Catholic. I'm still Catholic, but I practice and study all things magical and mythological, things like that. So that's a big part of my life, but I also study a lot of other things and know the do's and don'ts and how to break certain connections when and if you ever have to make a choice like that. But I don't think Sam really realized what he was kind of doing. Like, yes, the witch did explain it to them and what they were doing and the signs and all that, and explain to them from her point of view what it was and how it worked. Which, I understand it, especially if that's your belief or whatever. I get it. I'm not going to judge you for it. Just not my personal thing. But I also don't think Sam understands, or did not understand. He probably does, but this is just me saying, because they don't release a whole lot of stuff. Like as far as I know of, he doesn't talk about it. Maybe he has studied up on that stuff and does know how to do certain things. I don't know. I personally wouldn't know. But making a pact like that, there's something called a warlock, which is known as an oath breaker to witches. Back in the olden days, it was actually considered like a derogatory term toward witches who were oath breakers, who betrayed their coven and was banished. But in modern days, from what I have learned, from people I've watched that claim the title warlock, it's not a male witch. A witch can be a man or a woman, and a warlock can be a man or a woman. But a warlock is known as an oath breaker. It's used as a sort of derogatory term, marking you so other witches know that you are an oath breaker, and that you have betrayed another witch or a coven. That's how they sort of mark you. But in modern times, especially within the last 5-10 years, I've noticed from other practitioners, whether it be online, in books, whatever, that there is another brand of warlocks. This is not historical. This is just what I've seen from people calling themselves warlocks. That when they make a pact with a certain deity, creature, or whether it be the devil or a god or a spirit or a being, whatever it may be, they make a pact with something specific, so that way they don't need a coven. They don't need, which is different than a solitary practitioner. A solitary practitioner kind of uses their own power, whatever they can draw from. Yes, you can work with spirits and things without making a pact, but the modern warlock, I guess you could say, because this is not historical, but the modern warlock is known to be kind of somebody that made a deal with something or a pact with something for power, and in return they were kind of a devotee, not necessarily worship, but worked with specifically this one thing, this one being, or whatever it may be, so that way they could have power of their own and not have to share or work with a coven. Which I kind of think that's what Sam did to himself on accident. Maybe he turned himself into one of those by accident. That's just what I'm thinking, because yes, there are certain groups and covens that do work with one specific god, goddess, whatever it may be. But the ones who are by themselves, they don't call themselves a solitary practitioner. The warlocks I've seen now, yes, warlock does mean oath breaker, but modern warlocks, the reason why people call themselves that now is they make a pact with one specific thing, usually something dark. From what I've seen, this is my own personal opinion, they make a pact with something dark to amplify their own power and augment their own, while still drawing from the entity. That way they have no need to practice with a coven or a group or a circle or with somebody else, whatever it may be. So I think that's what he might have done to himself. If Sam and Colby do watch this, I would highly suggest that Sam maybe seek out the witch that cast that spell, to maybe break all ties to that. Unless, of course, he wants to use that power, which, you know, that's your personal thing. Because I've seen many people, know many people that have dabbled in darker things and tested out that power and that side of things, which, if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not going to judge you. That's your own personal thing and beliefs. But if he doesn't want the connection to that thing, because the issue is with the pact, from what I remember of it, I haven't rewatched it, but from what I saw of the pact, he asked for them to help him find the darkness, which made the pact. And even though, yes, the witch closed out the ritual, does not necessarily mean she broke the pact. So the entity or whatever it may be will not leave him until it feels it has fulfilled its end of the bargain, because they did give an offering to help with that. So in my head, I don't think the connection will be broken until he willingly gets it broken, or maybe makes a counter pact. There are ways of doing that, so I don't know, but that's just my thoughts, theories, and opinions about Sam and Colby's haunted house. I do believe one of them was maybe a Dybbuk, because they did open 13 different ones, which probably not the best idea, opening that shit up in your house. But then again, I digress. No judgment here. So yeah, and I think one of them may have been the protector spirit, or the spirit that was connected to Sam through his pact, and then one other one that was welcomed in through those games. And of course, I believe it tied itself to those 3 doorways that were connected: 3 entities, 3 doorways, 3 portals, and 3 games. I don't know if they ever made that correlation and just didn't say it, but I personally would cleanse each of those doorways in the space that they connect to. And then I would also do a ritual to seal those doorways, spiritually at least, and to close any rifts that may have been made. And they did trap something in that box. I genuinely don't know if it was both spirits or just one, because Sam did talk to the thing that he had made the pact with to have whatever it was pretty much force it into the box, and it succeeded. But what I'm worried about is that if they did burn that box, or opened it, or whatever it may be, you're just kind of releasing it. It doesn't necessarily, it's kind of just like breaking a genie bottle. You're just destroying the thing you put it in, because the whole thing for Dybbuks is to trap something, giving it a vessel, that way it can't wreak havoc on a specific person, people, or place. Once again, I don't know, and maybe they did release it and won't follow them, but, you know, 50-50 shot. I mean, this is all just theories, thoughts, and opinions. I could be wrong about all of it. I could be right about some of it. I don't know, but that's just my own personal thoughts, theories, and opinions on it. So yeah, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And to Sam and Colby, if they ever watch this, I'm a huge fan. My mom, dad, and older brother were all huge fans of you guys. You guys are awesome, and good luck to both of you. And I hope your all's house is better after y'all did that ritual. So yeah, to everybody and to all, please, positive vibes. And as always, stay smart, stay wicked, stay alive. Like, subscribe, and share. And I will see all you hoes in the next video. Bye. God damn.